I know that you're taking steroids, so you want to start using them, but you're worried about the plethora of potential side effects that come out of it. My name is George Touliatos, aka Dr. Testosterone, certified MD, author of 9 books and countless articles focused on the proper use of steroids. Now, I know what you're thinking, just another juice doc answering Q&A. You feel frustrated having to search through countless articles and interviews seeking for the exclusive information that you're looking for. That's why we created Steroids Masterclass, an online course covering everything you need to know about harm reduction and steroid use. I'm not only saying this as a doctor, but as a former national bodybuilding champion who didn't have all the information that this course was providing for you. I can't wait to see you all, and remember that knowledge is power.
Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, brought to you by the Bible of Bodybuilding, available on Amazon.com. If you're on Amazon.com buying books, go ahead and get my book, Real Bodybuilding. What a great book. And now, all the way from Athens, Greece, please welcome Dr. George Touliatos. Hey Doc, how are you?
Hello Ron, I'm really excited because I was able to find and purchase another 2 issues of Muscular Development. I went downtown to the center of Athens, exactly about 10 miles far from my home.
Yeah.
And I begged them for this magazine. And also I ordered another one for the photographer, my friend. So yes, I was really excited because it sucks. The post office doesn't, I have not received anything since I returned from the Arnold, so April and May and June are not are not in my mail, so it's,
Are they
people, I guess, are stealing them, bodybuilding fans.
in the post office in Greece?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, that's awful, guys. Come on, don't be stealing Dr. T's magazines. Come on. So you let me know over the weekend you had another test. You had a
last week at the clinic I'm working with, I'm cooperating about the HRT in men. I had the carotid scan. Now, it's been 5 years since I had my last carotid scan. It was all clear in 2017. I have to tell you, back in 2017, I was just using testosterone. And as far as I remember, it was already 2 years on testosterone. But on the spring of 2016, right after I returned from FIBA and I had a meeting with Jay Cutler, I think I briefly used Primo and Deca, but that's all. Anyway, it was all clear back then, and now the radiologist told me that my right carotid artery is all clear. Now my left splits to the internal that goes straight to the brain, the external that goes over the face. Okay. And this branch, the internal that goes inside the brain, has 10% plaque, okay? Oh. Now, I'm really stubborn, I'm really egoistic, and I have taken this so personally that next month that I'm turning 49, I'm gonna repeat this carotid scan. I started statins, but I started another medication. It's not a statin, but it's also able to improve your HDL. My brother-in-law told me that Repatha, of course, is super expensive. Rich Gaspari told me that he pays, his insurance pays $2,000 for 3 months supply.
Wow.
It's really expensive, yes. And it's injectable, and because Thomas O'Connor also mentioned this, and I have also increased my supplementation about the cardiovascular thing. I started using also pycnogenol that clears the arteries, of course, boosting red rice yeast, polycosanol, phytosterols, all these things. But you know what, Ron? I believe that I paid the price for this extra kick that I gave this year. Of course, maybe it was also, I have to tell you that before the Olympia 2019, I was using also microdosing Deca.
Yeah.
Also 2020, during the pandemic, of course, I stopped. But right after, I just also implemented Deca in my HRT regimen. So I guess, as I preach, it doesn't have to be abused for a brief period of time. Small use, perhaps, because the Deca leads to calcification, perhaps you have this calcified plaque. Anyway, I hope that the calcium score will be 0 as the previous time, 2018. I didn't have one in 2020. I just had an echo stress in 2020, was negative.
Yep.
And the thing is that the coronaries, because are narrower vessels rather than the carotids, they are more likely to develop atheroma, plaque.
Yeah.
Now the carotids usually they are larger, okay, so they are not as narrow as the coronaries. We shall see. I'll let you know, of course.
Yeah.
And I had a patient of mine last week, 49 years old, heavy smoker, steroid user in the past, HRT now, but a little bit of DEC as well. He went for a calcium score. It was 50. The point is, his cardiologist observed several plaques and stenosis at 70%. And he's not going to avoid the stent,
Ooh.
So I guess smoking and predisposition, of course, are factors. But I believe, Ron, the only thing we can use without harm is testosterone. That's all. Testosterone is not toxic, has no negative effects to the heart. We have over here also Proviron. But please forget about all the other shit, all the other steroids, the synthetic derivatives of testosterone.
What about Tren? Obviously.
And perhaps a little bit, tiny fraction of GH, perhaps, if you want to stay healthy and go to a hunter, Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to look fantastic the outside and rotten inside.
Well, let me ask you, carotid scan, do they have to put like a wire down your, how do they do this?
No, man, no. It's just, right, like the triplets over here, like your liver, it's super easy.
Is it like a
Zero radiation, no radiation. No.
Oh, okay.
You just put over here, a gel.
Okay.
Like a...
it's like an ultrasound, kind of.
Yeah, ultrasound, yeah. Just like the pregnant women they have.
Okay. Because if
The
there was
5
a...
minutes, you can have it and it can predict a little bit,
Okay.
It's worth of taking that.
Because if they were going to stick a needle down my carotid, down
No,
my
man,
heart,
please.
no,
No,
I'm all set.
This is the other thing. This is the stent that they go through your artery over here or your artery down the leg, it sucks, yeah.
I don't want that. Okay. Well, I actually need to contact my cardiologist because I think it's been almost a year.
No, actually, this is about radiologists, you go to the radiologist does.
Well, I still need to see my cardiologist.
Yeah, and then the cardiologist evaluates, assesses.
Okay. Yeah, I'll ask for it because I've never had that. I've never had a carotid scan.
And thank God, we had this prophetic interview, and this actually was the best decision for me because imagine if I was now in preparation,
Yeah.
Oh man, everything happens for a reason,
You're on the Tren, the Masteron, the Clen.
The halotestin, the Winslow, the Anabar.
Yeah, all the good stuff. Yeah. Okay. Well, food for thought, doctor. But we got some great questions from the viewers. Let's begin. Hi, doc. How long can I cycle test sip at 250 milligrams before my hematocrit goes up? And would a baby dose of aspirin help taper the side effects of blood clotting?
Oh, this is not a simple answer because it could be multifactorial depending if you snore, if your neck is over 17 inches, or more likely, it's very possible for you to snore and have apnea, and that elevates kick CPO through hypoxia if you are a smoker. Those two factors, of course, yes. And then 250 is not a lot. If you're predisposed, if you're predisposed like me. Yeah. So before, I never had below 45% hematocrit in my life, never.
Wow.
Even when I was a kid in school, so I was never going to develop anemia. On the other hand, I know people with steroids that have this 45%.
Sure.
And then, yes, you can use aspirin, and you can use also pentoxifylline, you can use fish oil. You can avoid red meat, of course. If you're a vegan, it's even better. And do the microdose, split the 250 into doses of 125, or even 5 doses of 50 milligrams,
It would matter or would not matter?
It would, yes.
Oh, okay, it would help.
Because we avoid the spiking,
Okay, yeah. I mean, those questions like what exact dose is going to do that? Obviously, it's going to be different for different people in different circumstances. So
yeah, I was listening to Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, he claims he uses 100 to 200 milligrams of testosterone. Now, and he has levels of 700. Now, this sounds reasonable in a way. Why? Because he's large, his metabolic rate is high, so I guess he assimilates the testosterone. Unlike me, that I'm using 75 milligrams and I have 700. Oh. It's great.
Yeah, we're all different. Next question, also about testosterone. My question is, I'm on testosterone SIP for 8 months. I want to stop it and start taking a PCT cycle to help me get my natural testosterone come back. So he's asking what he should do for PCT. What do you believe? Yeah, and then there's a question about his hair. So you've talked about PCT many times. What's the generic PCT protocol that you
have to wait for 1 week to clear the ester, and then you start low dose of HCG for a couple of weeks, and after that, low dose of SERMs for another couple of weeks. You need the testosterone boosters, the supplementation pre-workout. You need also cholesterol to synthesize testosterone. You need sleep, proper sleep before midnight. You don't need overtraining. And actually you need lactate production. And what was next?
He had another question about hair. So I think this was a different person. What do you believe is safer for the hair? Nadrolone at 300 to 400 milligrams a week with 125 to 250 milligrams test, or medium test, 250 to 375 milligrams and 300 to 400 milligrams of equipoise?
So the short answer is just testosterone, as long as you provide finasteride orally and dutasteride locally, along with minoxidil and ketoconazole. Now, compared DECA to equipoise, DECA is considered to be more friendly for the DHT production because it metabolizes to dihydronandrolone, which is less harmful to the scalp and the prostate, okay? Yeah. But, I mean, just take off everything and use testosterone with those anti-androgens to save your hair.
But if you had to choose between the two, which is worse, DECA or equipoise?
Equipoise, definitely. It's a testosterone derivative, but I guess it produces DHT, not DHN. DHN is a rare thing.
Okay. Next question. You've answered this before, I know. What's the best supplement to clean your system after a course? I know you've talked about TUDCA before for the liver.
Oh, TUDCA, I've said that before, it's beneficial only if you have cholestasis jaundice, which is hepatic disease actually, when you have yellow eyeballs and skin and itching, which is something extreme, you know. I mean, I've seen that to some competitors, but it's the second stage of liver disease. Now, apart from the liver, glutathione, of course, NAC, alpha lipoic acid, and milk thistle for the liver. For the kidneys, we don't have something special apart from hydration. Now, control blood pressure. Astragalus, some people say it elevates GFR. Now, GFR is purely depending on creatinine. Creatinine depends also on body mass index, on rhabdomyolysis, on red meat consumption, you know. And then for the cardiovascular, we have niacin, polycrosinol, resveratrol, all the things that work like statins, you know, EFAs.
If you're taking all these after a course, shouldn't you be taking these while you're on the drugs too?
Absolutely. I'm taking this all year round. And if you can afford it, you take them even before to be in the green zone, you know, avoid going to the red zone, enter the course. Now, people that cannot afford it, just take it afterwards to restore their labs. But what I learned and what my cardiologist said is that, Ron, even if you have perfect labs, this doesn't exclude the fact you may have still a plaque. Now, the only examination that shows the plaque is the angiography. Unfortunately, you have to go inside and see. So the ultrasound or the labs or the stress test may be all fine and still got a heart attack. This is so fucking unfair. Yes.
Jeez.
I know a man, a 60-year-old guy who died last year from a heart attack. Of course, he was a smoker, overweight, but he passed the stress test. Wow. Crazy.
So angiography, what is that? How do they do
angiography is the calcium score. Yes, the calcium. Yeah.
Okay.
The calcium score. So only this examination reveals how the arteries are inside. Everything else is just speculation, you know.
Yeah, I mean, people say my blood works fine, but that's all
Oh
they do is
yeah,
the blood
okay.
work.
I mean, should be fine because it's fucked up. You're screwed, you know?
Yeah. This is the next question. I've never heard about this happening from Tess. So, doctor, 2 months ago, I had a panic attack from testosterone and nanthate. In the days prior, my heart rate had been elevated to 115 beats per minute, and I couldn't sleep. The dose I was taking was high, but the brand was off market and very underdosed. So I injected much, but my levels weren't high. After a week, I injected 0.2 ml and got another panic attack. Now I can't even take one pump of androgel, or my heart will start racing and pounding and shoot up to 100 beats per minute or more. As soon as it works, my heart rate will get lower and I get dizzy. I did an ECG and that turned out to be okay, and it isn't related to estrogen, as it happens when estrogen is high or low. I also don't feel anxious unless E2 is low. Hope you can help. Thanks.
I think this guy needs a shrink, definitely. Okay, from the extended version of the question, I understand that he's under panic attack and stress, you know.
Yeah.
He focuses on things that are not of his concern, like how much is E2, and I watch it too high and get panicked. This is meaning he's only in his mind, you know. I believe one pump of androgen seriously gives you panic attack, then you have already another problem with you know, anxiety, you know, and anxiety, how you say, episodes or attacks. So he could take some medication, of course, by the psychiatrist to chill out. And if he's hypogonadal, then he certainly needs. Otherwise, if he's about, let's say, mid-range, he doesn't need to get testosterone. We don't start TRT out of the blue, you know, without any reason.
Right.
You need to be hypogonadal. Otherwise, you can rely on your own production.
Have you ever heard of panic attacks as a side effect of any steroid?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. The heavy androgens, the stimulants.
Yeah.
There has to be a predisposition also.
Right.
Along with the diet, you know, and the stress, and if somebody busts your balls, you know. But absolutely, under abuse and stacking, yes. Okay, but not the replacement therapy.
Right.
Now, if this happens to replacement therapy, obviously you have other problems with your mind, you know. Yeah. It's not the blame on the testosterone, but it's on your brain chemistry.
I mean, I'd hate to see this guy or anybody have to live on something like Valium all the time, because
no, you don't live on Valium all the time, but for a brief period of time, you just need something to chill out and relax and sleep mostly. If you don't sleep, sleep is a medication, you know. All the psychiatrists ask you, how's your sleep?
Right. Yeah.
Because you turn to a zombie, you know.
Oh.
So many consequences if you don't sleep 11 to 7.
Yeah. Do you get 8 hours every night, Doc?
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. And now, recently, I take off all the cats from the room at night because, man, it's like filling up the batteries, you know. And if I don't wake up the next day, I'm not 100% right.
Yeah, man, I can't believe these cats won't let you sleep. Wow. Next question. Clenbuterol. It's a summertime, so of course, Clen's a popular substance. While on prep and cutting for a show, how many weeks out should you start Clen?
Oh, it depends on your physique.
Yeah. Are you a fatso or you're already lean? What, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you have something stubborn fat and your body fat, or you don't get dry, I mean, you don't get that much defined, perhaps you can try the Clen with T3 for a short period of time, you know, see how you react. But don't rely exclusively on that, you know? I mean, if you're fat already, what can stimulus do to you? I mean, if you are lazy, if you don't diet.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I tell everybody, if you want to compete ever, don't get fat, because you're going to have such a hard time going from, you know, when I say fat, it's my version. We have different standards in bodybuilding, but if you
let's say 10% is something solid, you know, I mean, fair enough.
I mean, you should always be able to see some abs, at least the
Arnold said that, yes, the off season should be a piece of cake for you to draw. I mean, Sean Ray said no more than 10 pounds.
Yeah. Arnold actually said, if you can't see your serratus, you're not a bodybuilder.
This is extreme.
He said, you're not a bodybuilder. There was, you know, he said that 50 years ago, 40, 50 years ago. Next one. Another thing that's probably impossible to answer except on a case-by-case basis. What is the optimum dose of TRT to increase your libido?
Now, this is also multifactorial, okay? Some people react perfectly well at 100, some other do not react well at 200. It's a matter of free testosterone, prolactin, estradiol, SHBG, of course. These are the variables for, for a sex drive. Mine also, the sex drive is a thing that is captured in the brain,
Yeah.
You may have perfect testosterone, but you're simply not interested for this particular woman,
Well, I mean, in general, I think that's one of the easiest ways to tell your test levels is, do you have a sex drive? Is it very low? Is it normal? Is it high? To me, those seem to really have a strong correlation to your free test.
They do, but I'm telling you, even if you are enhanced and optimized and into replacement therapy, sometimes you're not that satisfied. Then there's some small variables like elevated HBG lowers free testosterone, prolactin also gives you anorgasmia. Yeah. Excessive estrogen also affect the duration of the erection. Too low estrogen also kill the erection if you're obsessed with aromatase inhibitors and gyno, and you believe that you look bloated and you take AIs, you abuse AIs actually, you kill your sex drive. And also you need a good relationship with your sex partner,
Well, maybe this is a single guy and he's, on the Tinder or whatever, the Match, whatever they have, Bumble, I don't know. But yeah, the dose could range. I mean, you've seen TRT doses. What's like the lowest dose?
Listen, yes. I just had a consultation from somebody from Bulgaria. He told me I'm using 0.5 gram of testosterone. Wow. And he's using also 2 milligrams of anastrozole per week, which is a good ratio approximately. Yeah. But he couldn't have a decent orgasm and erection. So that was not bad than prolactin. The point is, I told him to implement some HCG. And after that, he felt much better because he lacked of intratesticular testosterone, And HCG kicks your own production, but it's a good libido enhancer within the replacement therapy and within a cycle also. Because after a while, your own production shuts off. And so you don't have this extra thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I mean, I'm not obviously a doctor, but I've seen people tell me their doses as low as, I've heard people say 50 milligrams a week. I've seen people who do 300 milligrams a week under a doctor on the very high end. Thomas had that one guy that needed 600 milligrams.
Yes, I remember. So I have a patient from the States. He's 60 years old with prostate cancer. He's using 100 milligrams of testosterone, even that he has prostate cancer, but he's also taking dutasteride. And he sleeps with 25-year-old women, and he has great sex drive with 100 milligrams of testosterone. Wow. But it works with him. He's super lean. Yeah. He's athletic. He has self-confidence, of course, a great smile, great self-esteem. He was a pilot once upon a time. Yeah. He was in the DA. Anyway, he's larger than life, but more is not better, More is not better always.
This guy's my new hero. Wow. Okay. And the last question. Hi, doctor. Why do I feel like sleeping after my healthy breakfast of protein, carbs, and fats?
Because possibly you have developed insulin resistance. That's why you feel sleepy. And I suggest you to check A1C and check also serum fasting glucose. Lower your carbs or eat starchy carbs, complex carbs, not simple carbs, or take all of the carbs in the morning breakfast. What I noticed from myself as the process I was leaning out, when I had just omelette and cottage cheese and salmon for breakfast and no carbs, of course I was focusing to burn the fat, okay? My priority was not to lift super heavy. Right. I felt more of the cortisol and the adrenaline in my blood. Because insulin out of the carbs will lower cortisol, and cortisol gives you this state of alert, a little bit of cortisol, Yeah. Now, as soon as you eat carbs, the cortisol goes down and the insulin releases serotonin, you feel sleepy. That's why some people that are grumpy and lack of serotonin, the joy hormone, like myself also, you need something like oatmeal to go to the bed and sleep like a baby, because it releases also the insulin will enhance the serotonin. Serotonin also will make you much joyful,
Yep. Okay, good answer. All right, well, that's all the questions we have. I will contact my cardiologist, doctor, thanks to your suggestion. I haven't had a calcium score.
And
in
also
2 years.
I informed Thomas in first place and Steve about this. Steve asked me a little bit of details. My blood profile was not bad. And Thomas, of course, agreed. And we should add this as a prevention, you know, and for better prognosis, test the carotid scan, because if carotids are like this and coronaries are like this, the tiny arteries are more likely to have, you know, problem.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I want to stay alive a lot longer, so I will heed your advice, doctor. I will heed you.
I prefer you to take 0.5 gram of testosterone rather than 250 testosterone, 250 of DECA.
Oh boy.
Because testosterone, apart from lowering your LDL, won't do anything else. Okay, blood pressure, of course, that also DECA does, but the steroids will lead to dyslipidemia, elevation of homocysteine, you know, all this nasty thing, liver, perhaps liver damage, you know. Testosterone is the familiar hormone that is not toxic, you know, and it's officially by the Lancet now that does not lead to cardiovascular disease.
Wow. So more tests is better than tests and DECA together. Got it. Okay. Point taken. All right. Guys, if you have questions for the doctor, you please leave them in the comments below. If you like the video, please hit the like, share the video, comment even if you don't have questions. We love hearing your feedback. Of course, the little subscription bell, the little bell in the corner so you know when we have new videos. Doctor, thank you so much for taking your time, giving us your knowledge, your expertise, as always. Pro bono. Come on, guys. Where are you going to get this? It's a very, very, very generous service the doctors
On this
provide.
Friday, I have the launching of my steroid masterclass course, and I thank MD for all this promotion that Jennifer did on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. You know, it was even on the website. You know, and
we appreciate you, doctor. We appreciate what you do. So it's only the least we can do. The steroid masterclass, guys. I think the commercial actually runs at the beginning of this. So yeah, you'll see that. All right. Well, everybody, that's it. Thanks for watching Ask Dr. Testosterone with Dr. George Touliatos. We'll see you right here next time. Thanks for watching.